Hello and welcome back to Sega News Bits. I'm Barry, with me is George.
Hello everyone.
And we're recording one of these for the first time in a while because breaking news, big news today. Well, is it big? We'll discuss that. Virtua Fighter Esports project has been announced as part of Sega's Tokyo Game Show reveals. And we really have only a tweet to go off of and a 1 minute long trailer. So first off, the tweet comes from Sega Japan, and they say, and this is a loose translation, the monumental tower of the case game is finally back in esports. That something's lost there.
Yeah.
Virtua Fighter Cross Esports project announced. Virtua Fighter, which was born as the world's first 3D fighting game in 1993, will be restarted in Japan to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Sega's establishment. Stay tuned for future updates. So, George, what are your thoughts on this?
My hot take would be that they're finally making a new game, or at least one that's mainly focused on the esports scene. I don't know if that's a good thing because I feel like that's what Capcom did with Street Fighter V and sold this package that's very refined, It only had a few characters. They're easy to balance. They're easy to balance because they're more simplified, so they could do it on the go. So if something's needs to be nerfed, they could just do it really quick because there's only a few moves per character. I hope this is not what Sega's gonna do if there is a new game. It could also just be a re-release of 5 with esports and better netcode.
Right. Now I considered that. I don't think that'll be the case just because of how long it has been. That just kind of feels out of character for them at this point. Now, let's look at another esports game. So, Puyo Puyo Esports came out in 2018. Mm-hmm. And in fact, Persona-sama, the guy who worked on the Scott Pilgrim game, actually made a joke tweet back when the Puyo Puyo Esports was announced saying, "Oh, I love this new Sega series." And he had Fantasy Zone Esports, Outrun Esports, Feel the Magic Esports, but then Virtua Fighter Esports, which is kind of funny. And Puyo Puyo Esports, also known as Puyo Puyo Champions, is a Puyo game aimed at esports competition. It has Puyo Puyo 2 mode and Puyo Puyo Fever mode and no story mode. So no single-player campaign. Now, looking at Virtua Fighter, let's say this game came out and it was called Virtua Fighter Champions or Virtua Fighter Esports. It was primarily focused on 2-player. It did not have a story mode or a single-player campaign. It might have an arcade mode where you just play through as you usually do with AI. Is that really a bad thing? That's Virtua Fighter, pretty much.
I don't know. I think some people would miss the collectibles and getting your character to look a certain way that they added in the old titles. But I think that's kind of the thing that Sega wants to do. They want to do a low-priced entry, maybe. That's what I thought of. The same thing you did, the Puyo Puyo Esports, because it was literally called Puyo Puyo Esports, aimed at esports. I do know that in Japan, esports is an official thing now where publishers are making money out of it, so it's not that surprising that all that stuff happened, and now Sega's doing this. I don't know. I'm interested in what they're going to do. I'm hoping that they have something new there because I think it would be very disappointing for all of us if all they do is the old games are coming back and you could play them professionally. That wouldn't be as exciting as a new title. But
absolutely, yeah. And like I've been saying, though, it's been so long that they'd be crazy not to use their current arcade hardware to develop this. As far as characters, the one thing I could maybe see is no new characters. They would just bring back the entire roster. Maybe that's what they'd do. So you wouldn't really have a story, you wouldn't really have new characters, but you would have all the existing characters and stages brought into the new, graphics engines. Looking at Puyo Puyo Esports, they have 30 playable characters. Not that characters really matter in a puzzle game.
No. Yeah,
it's just a little avatar for you. But I'm cautiously optimistic. I think this is better than a mobile game. I think this is better than a crossover. I think, to be honest, this could be Virtua Fighter 6 all but in name. I mean, maybe they're just afraid of numbering, which would make sense.
And, they also have that fog service that they're trying to roll out. Maybe this will be one of those titles that premieres on that network service they got going on. Who knows? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Or it could just be a console game. I mean, that would be better for a lot of people, I think, now. Because you got to live in Japan to be playing these kind of arcade games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what are your guys' thoughts about this whole thing? Do you think this will be Virtua Fighter 6? Do you think this will be Virtua Fighter 5? With just some new additions? Sound off in the comments below. And don't forget, check us out on Sega Talk. Check us out everywhere the internet is. Bye.
Bye.
I haven't done one of these in so long.